Okay, on to question 6. A function is defined by f of x is equal to 5 plus 4x. Given that f of a is equal to 73, calculate a. So they're a wee bit cheeky here. They've changed a or x for a. Okay, they could have rewritten that as f of x is equal to 73. They could have said that. All right. But the point is that there's two kind of ways to ask these questions. The point is here is that 5 plus 4x is equal to 73. So the sum of the equation is 73. Okay. Usually in these kind of questions, I think it's more common. Small razor. I think it's more common for them to say, calculate f of 4. Okay, something like that, and you would substitute 4 in for x. But in this case, they're saying, well, the whole equation f of x is equal to 73. So what is x? But again, they've thrown another little twist instead a instead of x. Okay, so this is your first line of working is okay. This equation equals 73. That's what that's saying. So then it's just looking at your BOMDAS, BIDMAS, whatever you call it. So again, I say to people, think how you would do this equation if we knew what x was. Okay, you would do 4 times whatever x was, and then add the 5. So if we want to rearrange for x, we're going to do it in the opposite order. Okay, so we're not going to do the 4 first, do the 5 first. Okay, so if we want to move that over, that is effectively a plus 5. So we do the opposite. Okay, so that's 4x is equal to 73 minus 5, which is 68. Okay, but I don't like going like that. I'll just take one more line. I'm sure it's not like I'm wasting paper, is it? So 4x is equal to 68. Okay, so this is 4 times x. To get rid of the 4, we need to divide. Okay, so 68 divided by 4. You can do that in the calculator if you want. But that's just 68 divided by 4. On. So 4 into 6 is 1. Carry the 2. It's 7. Yeah, 17. So x is equal to, well, they said calculate a. So yeah, we actually need to put it into that context. Okay, we've said that x is 17 here because I've written it this way. Um, I think that's interesting actually. I wonder if I really should have rewritten that equation with a instead of x actually. Sorry, apologies. So again, I'm going to leave this in. I could reissue this video, but take me 2 minutes. But I think it's quite good sometimes to just to show that when I go through these, it's good if people make mistakes and you notice it. It's when you do these. So like, does say calculate a, and I've got x is equal to, so that's obviously not right. Okay, so at this point I'd be going back and I'd be saying, right, well, no, it's actually a, it's a, it's a, so that's a. Okay, so again, just once you finish these, just read the question. It's easy to make a silly mistake. I'm just going to check the marking place to see, what it does actually say. It says accept the use of x in place of a. So if you had just put x, you would still get your full marks actually. But letter of the law, to be completely correct, I would just use a. So there you go. You would still get the marks for using x. Okay. So your first mark is for identifying 5 plus 4a is 73. And then really there's nothing else apart from the final answer. Okay. So not a lot in that. Just identifying that this isn't saying x is equal to 73, it's the whole sum. Okay, some people probably would have substituted 73 in here, done 73 times 4 plus 5. Okay, so on we go. A toy company makes juggling balls in a shape of a sphere with a diameter of 6.4. So again, there's no diameter down there, so almost none of that is relevant. Okay, I can see a sphere, I can see 6.4. Calculate the volume of one juggling ball, and it's to 2 significant figures. So again, that'll come in handy at the end. Or not handy, but remember that at the end. Again, volume questions. You're always given the equations at the front of the sheet. So just have a look at the front of the sheet. So volume of a sphere, a pen is 4/3 pi r cubed. Loads of people forget the cubed. Okay, put squared in, it's cubed. Okay, when you're thinking in volumes, thinking in cubed. Okay, thinking in area, thinking in square root. Okay, so that's our equation. So we've got that for free. That's at the front of the sheet. Okay, so 4/3 times pi times r cubed. What is our radius? Now they're giving us the diameter. A lot of folk would put the diameter in, but what we're going to do, we're going to half it. 3.2 cubed. Okay, because the radius is from the center to the edge. It's going to be half of that, 3.2. Okay, so that's us got our formula. We've substituted it in. Let's just put that in the calculator. Okay, so that's giving me 137 point, I'll round it to 26, okay, and that's going to be in centimeters cubed. Okay, but I'm not finished because the question wanted two significant figures. So when I do this, I would always think, right, well, what's my first significant figure? There's one. What's my second? There's two. And the little rhyme, and it's very childish, but it does work. Find your place. So that's our last significant figure. Look next door. 5 or greater. Add one more. Okay, so that's obviously bigger than 5, so we need to add 1 to that. Okay, so to get two significant figures, we're going to say it's going to be 1, 4, but then we need the 0 just to make sure we've got place value to these, otherwise we've got 14. Okay, and when you look at that, you think, well, that's about right, isn't it? 137.26, I'm going to round that to 140. Okay, so in my head, I'm thinking that's pretty sensible. Okay, and that's our final answer. So you're going to mark for substituting correctly, you're going to mark for working it out, and then you're going to mark for your significant places. So don't drop that mark, okay? Don't be silly. Okay, that's really, really good. It's an easy mark to get, and they do add up all those little tiny marks. So yeah, when you get a volume question, brilliant. You know, not much to them at all. You're given the formula, and you know what numbers are you given? You're given one number, and there's one thing to substitute in. They made you divide it by 2, but you know, not a lot to do there. Okay, so nice easy question. Solve 7 sin x plus 2 is equal to 3. Now, again, people get confused when they see sine and cos and tan, and they think, well, I can't do that. Now, if I'd said, okay, 7x plus 2 is equal to 3, and this is the kind of thing you've been doing since first year, okay? How do we rearrange for x? Well, we've got plus 2, so I have to move that over by taking it away. Okay. So that's 3 minus 2, which is going to give us 1. So 7x is equal to 1. How do I move the 7 over? Well, it's doing 7 times x, so I do the opposite, I divide it. Okay, and that's very easy. Now, that's the exact same process you would do if it was sin x instead of x. Okay, the exact same thing. Let's write that properly. Just sin x. Okay, exact same thing. Now, yeah, okay, so we're just going to put that in a calculator. The last step before we do the calculator, we need to move sine over. So to get x on its own, we need to do sine to the minus 1 a 7th. Okay, that's the only thing that's different from your first year work, is to know to do the inverse sine. Okay, so I'm going to put that in my calculator. Okay, so that's giving me x is equal to 8.21. I'm going to call it degrees. Now, interestingly, if you do this question, if we had a negative here, if that was negative a 7th, I would solve this as positive a 7th. Okay, I'd rearrange it exactly the way we did. But if this number in here, I'm going to highlight it, if this number here is negative, just do it as a positive, okay? Because 8.2 isn't really our final answer. The question notes limits of 0 to 360, okay? So 8.2 is in our first quadrant, okay? So this is called the cast diagram. Now, I call it all smokers take cancer, but cast is fine, whatever. And in the first quadrant, everything's positive, okay? And this is what we want to work out, is our first quadrant value, okay? This theta value in here, which we're saying is 8.21, right? So no matter what you get up here, just make it positive, okay? So in our case, it's positive, so that's great. So yeah, we've got 8.21 as our first answer. So for us, that is actually the first answer. Say that was cos, cos of minus the 7th. I would be doing cos of a 7th to work out what the answer is in here, and then I would say, well, where is cos negative? Okay, cos is going to be negative in here and here, and then do the working for that. Okay, that's just the way I prefer to do it. I always like to get this first quadrant answer and then work through. But for sine, this is the easiest one you can get because we're working in these two quadrants. So we know the first quadrant is 8.21, that's brilliant. Now what's the value of sine in the second quadrant? Okay, Well, it's going to be, sorry, I'll use a different colour. So we're looking for the degrees all the way around here. Okay, now that's equal to 180 minus theta. Okay, because that in there is effectively our theta. So we're doing 180 minus theta. Okay, so 180 minus 8.21 is our second answer. So in quadrant 1, that's our first answer. And in quadrant 2, we're doing 180 minus 8.21. I do apologise for the handwriting. Okay, and that's going to give us 171. Let's check that. Yeah, 0.79. Okay, so there's a little bit in that, I suppose. For 3 marks, there's a wee bit of work for not a lot of marks actually. So the first mark you're getting is actually down at this point. Okay, as your first one. The second mark you're getting is this, and the third mark is for knowing your other quadrant. Okay, now I think that seems a bit. It's not harsh, but I feel there's actually quite a lot of information's gone into this, or a lot of knowledge has gone into this. For example, you've had to know how to rearrange the equation to begin. Okay, if this was a different question, if this was minus a seventh, okay, so when is sign negative, you'd be looking at these two quadrants. That's an extra little step. Okay, so yeah, if that was minus a seventh, we do the exact same process. Still work out the seventh, 8.21, but then work out what the values would be in these quadrants. Okay, so it'd be 180 plus theta in this quadrant, yeah, and it'd be 360 minus theta in this quadrant. Okay, if we were looking at negative sign. Okay, that'd be our theta in there. That'd be theta in here. Okay, so yeah, 3 marks for that one. Okay, I'll have to stop here.